A very good morning to all of you. This is R.N. Bhaskar from BKBB, an acronym for Bhaskar Ki Business Baatein. This is a channel that comes to you with policy analysis, occasional conversations, and business stories. But right now, at this point of time, at 8:15 in the morning, Mondays to Fridays, we bring you news behind the news. And today is the last day of this week because you're Monday to Friday. And as usual, we have three headlines which we shall discuss. My co-anchor is Katya. Welcome, Katya. Good to have you here. And the three headlines that we shall talk about today are, the first one is about which of the countries that are going to recognize Palestine. The second one is a new twist to the Byju tale. And the third one is the Tariff story, which is both a comedy and a tragedy. Let's take the first one first. All eyes are on September this year, when the United Nations General Assembly will be convening in New York. The item on the agenda is Palestine. And at least 140 countries out of 197 countries are expected to vote in favor of Palestine. This chart from Mint gives you an idea of how many countries have recognized Palestine already, right from historic times. Like, for example, India recognized Palestine a long time ago, though it has kept quiet lately. But the new ones that have really pushed up the ante are France, Ireland, Norway, Spain, and these are the countries which hitherto had been US allies are now willing to go out to the front and say, we want Palestine to become a separate state. UK also said the same thing, but UK said Palestine must also release hostages, Palestine must also give up arms, which effectively means yes and no. Nothing unusual. But when the General Assembly meets this September, this issue is going to become bigger because A, the General Assembly might want an immediate cessation of the war. B, resumption immediately of aid to prevent further starvation. And the third, if a separate state is not guaranteed and the first two conditions are not met, there is every possibility that the general body might demand expulsion of Israel from the United Nations. One of the rare times that this will happen. And Israel runs the same risk that South Africa once did when the US supported it, even though it was apartheid. The US has a remarkable history of protecting and defending the most rotten of causes. And this is one of them. Let us see what happens. And that takes us to the next story, and that is by Katya on Byju. Katya, good morning.
The Byju story is back again.
Yes.
So this time, he's blaming the debt buyers. So he says, this company was never bankrupt. It was pulled to bankruptcy by secondary debt buyers who are actually, and the fact that it's gone to insolvency is not a routine insolvency. It's a corporate raid and a hostile takeover by opportunistic secondary buyers who masqueraded as lenders, and they are trying to make money by destroying the company. So he actually wants to seek 2.5 billion damages against financial predators. Just to take you a little back, the company at one point in time, it was a decacorn, it was valued at $22 billion. But when troubles formed and allegations of them diverting funds, of the founders diverting funds, came through, actually this value has fallen to zero. It's fallen to a billion, fallen to zero. The company has been crashing and crashing fast. It's in all sorts of legal trouble. But what he's currently blaming is a very interesting thing. While Byju's fall from grace is a very well told story, he's actually blaming secondary debt buyers, which is might going to be an issue and could be something that founders could do regularly as well, because secondary debt buyers always come in for distressed assets. It's private credit. That's the principle of private credit. They get into risky debt, and then they make money, or then they will probably facilitate a sale or a turnaround, and then they trust the company and they get involved in a much detailed manner, and it will turn around. But that will actually cause a huge clash between founders and the new debt investors into the company, because this is a secondary investment. The original investments are selling out their interests and exited. So you know why, and this could be an issue because private credit is going very fast thanks to all the AI funds that are coming in. Is it going to be an issue, sir? What do you think? You think these kind of disputes might grow, and any issues that will come between founders and the new debt entrants?
You see, the secondary debt market and the secondary debt buyers play a very important role because they prevent collusive deals between promoters and certain debtors. And because they want to have a piece of the pie themselves,
Mm,
they will not allow any collusive deals because that leaves very little for themselves.
right.
It's a very healthy practice. Of
Mm,
course, promoters don't like it. They don't like anything that interferes in the cozy relationship that they develop. And yes, Byju could be using this strategy just to create a smokescreen to confuse the case against him a little more so that courts get, you have vexatious cases being filed so that the peripheral cases are heard and they take up the time of the judges, and the main case can be postponed a little more. One
right.
doesn't know how the judges will react to this. It's quite possible they'll say that this is a smaller issue. Let us see the main case first. Let us see
Right.
what happens. But yes, Baiju has been trying to be more clever than half. Let us see what happens. Thanks, Katya. Very interesting development and very important. That takes us to the topic that everyone is talking about, and that is Trump's tariffs. A brilliant chart put together by Business Standard tells you a very interesting story. Look at the three lines for each commodity, for each item on which tariffs are put up. You'll find that the worst tariffs are on textiles. The first line, the light colored line, is actually the tariff that was for most favored nations. The second one is pre August 1. And the third line, which is the tallest line in each segment, is the line that is the new tariff imposed by Trump. Look at them very carefully, and you'll find that those are the sectors that India has been exporting, especially textiles, which is also labor intensive. Trump is trying to tell India that if it does not stop its deals with Russia, and if it does not open its doors to American agricultural products and American arms, then these tariffs stay. India, surprisingly, has said we will not impose any retaliatory tariffs. It has not issued any condemnatory note against these tariffs. America says the ball is in India's court. India says the ball is in America's court. And India says nothing will happen. We will protect Indians' interests. But by not doing anything, you're hurting India's interests. India has not even looked at alternative markets. India has not yet reduced its dollar pile in its foreign exchange reserves when every country in the world has been doing that. Part of India's gold is still with the UK. I mean, how much can you genuflect before the West? Somewhere, please have a spine and make a stand and create new markets by telling people in India that don't worry, we will take care of your interests, and allowing these huge tariffs to go on and not developing alternative markets. You're abandoning Indian entrepreneurs, Indian MSME players who don't even have the ability to create new markets. The government wants to be good to the US, wants to have a cozy relationship with the West. That's fine. Don't abandon the interests of India. It's good that they've not abandoned agriculture. It's good that they've not abandoned relations with Russia. But the way it has kept quiet, makes it look like a supplicant instead of being an independent country. And that is sad. And that takes me to the end of this analysis of 3 news items. But before I go on to questions and responding to comments, I'd like to make the usual reminder. Please click the subscribe button if you've not clicked it already. Yes, click the like button. It helps us immensely. But most important, tell all your friends about us. That's a way to grow the markets, to grow the audience even further. And let's take the comments. The first comment, not surprisingly, is on a story on Byju. How do we look at the future for Byju's? Will investors get their money back? Will the creditors get the monies that they've advanced, will they get them back? What's your view? Katya, would you have a view on that?
Uh, Sir, it once it's something goes to courts, and actually, Byju, like most startup, like most digital startups, does not have many base assets. It had acquired a lot of companies, but a lot of those and a lot of its business is also broken down. So valuations are, which actually shows how much of a smoke screen startup valuations are. Creditors might not get back a lot, but unless of course they sell it, the brand name also means very little now. So there is very unless and until they actually recover the money everybody accuses the founders of actually diverting. I don't think creditors are going to get anything, creditors as well as investors. So that is the only thing that is in there, and even the parents who have paid money also also are big losers in this whole game, their customers.
You're right. Unless of course, the creditors manage to impound and seize the accounts into which monies have been diverted,
Right.
nothing will come back. Even otherwise, history shows in India, creditors get very little. It's the
Right.
global creditors which know how to use their
Might.
methods and twist the arms of promoters through the courts. Let's see what happens. But yes, it's a very interesting development and a very interesting story. Thanks for highlighting it, Katya. And that takes us to the next question. And that is, what do you think will happen in in signing the tariff agreement? Will Indians buckle? India will not sign any tariff agreement because the tariffs are unacceptable. India will say, okay, we're not going to do anything, you decide what to do. But the fact is that India has already got 30% of exports in the US basket. So when the US comes in with these tariffs, you can be sure that the exports will fall to half their levels, if not lower. Exporters are going to be hit, which is why that the urgent need to develop new markets, the urgent need to mend fences with China and improve India's presence in the ASEAN market. We are warming up to China. Relations are thawing, but very slowly, and the pain will be felt by Indian small businesses. And that takes us to the next question. Why is India so quiet against all the moves that America's made? As I said, India's silence makes it look like a supplicant and not like an independent country. India wants to have a cozy relationship with the Westerners and refuses to make such cozy relationship with ASEAN and Southeast Asia, which is unfortunate. And that, in a way, takes us to the end of today's session. Thank you for being with us. And have a great weekend. Look forward to seeing you once again on Monday morning at 8:15. Till then, take care. Have a wonderful time.